Hi, and before we get to today's episode, we have a quick word from our sponsor. Tired of drinking out of a boring tumbler? Want to make your morning coffee cup one of a kind? Expand with Tipsy Tumblers. You can special order cups, shot glasses, bookmarks, rolling trays for your cigarettes. So you can get one with a picture of a special someone or one with Spider-Man. The options are endless. You can upload your own pictures or pick from her selection of design. With Valentine's Day coming up, this could be a great gift for that special someone, or even just for yourself. Hey, you can use the code GAMES2023 at checkout to save 10%. You go to angelstipsytumblers.myshopify.com. There will also be a link in the show notes. Now on to our episode today.
Mike, turn your games down.
Hi everyone, episode 208 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who else is getting their sword excited with me tonight?
I am.
Is that me? Go ahead.
I am the world's most seventh dangerous assassin, the crownless king of Joe Butler.
And I'm Scoop Jessica.
And welcome. And Joe, what did you make me play?
I made Mr. Mike Albertin play the infamous No More Heroes game that came out in 2007 for the amazingly Nintendo Wii.
Yes. And we have Scoop Jessica joining us tonight, too, to talk about this game.
I heard a cat in the background there.
Yes, it's not Jean. Her name is Kira.
Not Jean? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a 2-year... I think she's 2-year-old. I still call her a kitten, but...
Pretty young. All my cats live to be in their 20s, so that's pretty young for me.
And right before we started, I muted it, called her over, and of course she had to meow and then walk over.
I know.
Right.
As soon as you said hello, I hear meow.
Yeah, because she's perfect. That's what I always say. So, yes, we're here talking about No More Heroes, a game made by Grasshopper Manufacturer. I had played this game once, a long time ago. I want to say I think I rented it in 2008 when all I had was a Wii before I got a 360, and I played it maybe a few hours, and then I just quit. I never got back to it. I never picked it up again. It wasn't even on my radar. I also hate the Wii. I need to put that out there. I hate motion controls. As I said in the show.
Oh, we've got to have a talk then.
Yeah.
I just don't like them. I don't know. I didn't play this on a Wii. I played the PC Steam version.
Oh.
On a Steam Deck.
So we've had a very different experience then. Because
Yes.
I played this, on the original version on the Wii when it first came out. I love motion controls personally. I played this entire game standing up in front of my TV, just swinging my arms, big arm movements the whole time. I love it. So, but that's good. We can bring some perspectives to
I haven't played motion controls in a long time. Like, I have a Wii, but I won't hook it up. I have a Kinect that I won't hook up either. So,
yeah.
I'm a collector of random crap too, like gaming wise stuff, and it's all stuff from previous. But I'm curious. I could have seen this. I didn't mind because on the Steam version, on the Steam Deck, the motion controls just become the right analog stick. You push direction, stuff like that. I like that. I enjoyed that, but I did think about maybe this would have been fun on the Wii if I was to replay it.
It's a good workout if you that was a time in my life when I was a big fan of the Wii. I was at that point when this came out, I had pretty much exhausted Wii Sports completely and was in the market for something new with the motion controls. So I was I had to make sure to move furniture and clear space when I was playing.
I know what you mean. I think that might have been a reason why I didn't like it, because I had at the time, my son would have been around 1 or so when I had this game, so that probably would have been another reason why I didn't like it much.
Yeah.
Must not keep grabbable objects around, baby.
No.
And you probably don't want to, I don't know. I don't have kids, but I would guess this is probably not a game you want to play with kids in the room. Although
when they're 1 or so, they're not. I want to say you
wouldn't really understand some of the jokes that are being made. I guess
we wouldn't even notice what's going on. Just colors at that. I feel like at that time, it's not. You're too young to start really registering what you're watching, what you're seeing.
Guess, yeah.
So I wouldn't. But I don't remember. My girlfriend at the time might have been like, "You're not playing that in front of him." But I'm not. I can't remember. It's been a very long time. I, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That might have been the reason why. But I've always been really salty on motion controls because I when I bought my Wii the second time, I bought Metroid Prime Trilogy. And I remember being all excited. And I remember my hand hurting because I was holding the aim, and then I just never. I don't think I ever played since.
Well, yeah, and see, that's what's so interesting because I think personally for me, and what I've noticed specifically with like this current generation, like the current PS5 controller, for instance, hurts my hand so bad. Like I just can't stand it. And so for me, it's like there's something about keeping my hand in a constant position for so long and like only moving, your thumbs and your fingers a little bit, that I start to get those like claw hands after a while and they just cramp up. So I anything where I can move around as much as possible is just a better gaming experience for me. And so I think a lot of people are like the opposite. it's like, oh, this is too much motion and my hands are hurting, So, but yeah, I think this game was a good use of the motion controls, especially being so early in the Wii and all that was going on.
It looked like that.
I want to say like 90% of the Wii games were pretty decent with their motion controls, but you always get like maybe the handful of third-party games that are just awful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Wii is still a special system. I mean, I should go back and try things on it. Like, I'm sure I would like, Mario Galaxy, which I've never beaten or never really even played much. Because my copy got stolen from me at one point. I mean, stuff like that, like... It did. I mean, it's one of the, but it's one of those, it's like those type of games where I'm like, man, I wish I would have, like, maybe I should go back and try the Wii, but I just can't bring myself to want to try the motion controls again. But
yeah,
I mean, it's been over, it's probably been over 8 years at least.
Yeah, man, it's been a while since it came out.
So Joe, how did you play this?
So I played this on my Switch, which does have motion controls.
Oh, yeah.
In a weird kind of way, but I never played this when this first came out. I didn't play it till it was re-released for the Switch because I was obsessed with this game when it first came out. But a lot of people don't buy the Wii when it first came out, and I was a pretty poor kid. I didn't really have those consoles, and I had a cousin who had them. But it's really hard to be like, hey, you're a girl. Do you want to play what games you want to play, or do you want to play this weird game where this guy likes to fight anime style? It's like, oh, not going to be able to convince my cousin to buy this game.
So clearly we were not cousins then. Because I was that weird girl that was like, yes.
I mean, this is a strange game.
It is.
It wasn't what I expected.
Studio has like this weird way of like making just really weird games, and every game's themed off something. Was there anything that there was something that came up for this? So one of the things that I asked you, Mike, did you play Killer 7 before this game, or did you play Killer 7 at some point?
Yeah, it's on the show actually.
Yeah.
It's a really early episode, 30 something, but yes, I played Killer 7 back in the day because I had a friend that was a big GameCube enthusiast that would like always try to push the GameCube on people. And he was like, oh, you got Killer 7, you got RE4, GameCube exclusives. Back when they were. And I had played Killer 7 then, and then for the show, I actually went and beat it. I like Suda51. I like his style of games. Played a few. I bought Killer is Dead like 3 times, but never played it yet. Maybe one day I will, but
That's also a weird one.
I haven't. I have multiple copies of it. I did play, I think he did Shadows of the Dam too. I can't remember. That feels like that might have been his style also. But I don't remember that one actually is him, but I played that too.
Shadows of the Dam is him.
Okay.
It is, yeah.
That's a good game.
Killer 7, there is a NPC that you constantly meet, and his name is Travis, and it's the exact same character design, except the fact that he has gray skin and white hair, and his eyeballs are missing. And yeah, and it's just supposed to allude that this was supposed to be a prequel, maybe, and then yeah.
Well, and I might be jumping way ahead here, but at the end of No More Heroes, you do get attacked by a person who I think is meant to be Smith, the Killer 7. That's not how he introduces himself, but that's, I don't know. How spoilery do we get on this? I guess. Oh,
I forgot to say there will be spoilers with No More Heroes. I mean, game out 2007. I don't care. Yeah, feel free.
Yeah. So yeah, just to jump ahead to the very end of the game, you do once you reach your top rank, you do then obviously become a target for people who want to steal the rank from you, and you get attacked by a guy actually while you're on the toilet. And the sort of understood reference is that that guy is the main character from Killer 7. Or at least he's meant to.
Yeah, because he does look like one of the Smiths from Killer 7, the black guy. I cannot remember his name or anything, but okay, I did not put that together. But now that you mention it, like, because I only saw him for a second because I wasn't really paying attention. I thought I beat the game, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, wait a second.
You really only do see him for a second because, you're meant to sort of think like, oh, I'm safe at the top here, and, you can sort of relax, and then this guy just breaks in and attacks you, and it's meant to be like, whoa, what's going on? That's crazy. But I've replayed this multiple times, and then I watched a stream of Killer 7, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together at that point and was like, okay, I see where they were
cool.
kind of alluding to that.
I mean, I also forgot that in Killer 7, the dead ghost that talks to you is Travis. I completely forgot about that, Joe.
Yeah.
That was nowhere in my head.
Besides just being a really off-putting weird sequel, this game is just chock full of fucking references. Just chock full of them.
Oh, yeah. But it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and the voice acting crew is people who are on just about fucking everything. Travis is, Robert Downey Atkins. Most recently, what the hell is it? Metal Gear Solid? Kaz. He's Kaz from Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, I should play 5 one day.
Well, and Upwardable Op. The
Peace
other
Walker.
one. Peace Walker. Yeah, he's also
play that too one day.
He's in Peace Walker. What is it? The Destroy Man is the voice of Ocelot, and Shinobu is her voice actress is in tons of stuff. And the main thing I can remember is one of our other people that comes on the show sometimes, Bill. She's the voice of Daisy Fitzroy from BioShock Infinite.
Bill's favorite game.
Yeah, Bill's favorite game.
Okay, that's cool. I didn't really pay attention. I actually played this. I didn't play it with sound most of the time, but those reasons. But no, it was interesting. Like I didn't remember much. The gameplay I think is pretty. It works well. Like, I mean, you told me early on, like, you're like, okay, the combat doesn't change, and I thought, okay, I might get bored of it, but I actually liked the combat. I liked the way that you just have your low or high attack, and you just fight endless amounts of enemies and just kill them.
See, now that's interesting to hear you say, because I was kind of wondering if not playing it with motion controls would get a little monotonous, because it is so similar the whole time. You're just sword swinging,
It wasn't bad. It didn't bother me. Like I thought it might get boring to me because I usually, but for some reason it just kept me going. And okay, I should say for the most part I did play with sound, and the screams they make, I mean, that entertained me every time.
I love that. I know. I
didn't get bored of it, actually. Like I did a lot of combat in this game. Like, I mean, all the combat the game makes you do it. I think because I was getting money that I needed, it was keeping that dopamine hit that I was accomplishing a task that I had to accomplish, so it didn't bother.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a big part of it. Like, because I love Metrovanias, but I love the Vania version more, where if I'm getting experience or money or something that I need to progress, it will keep me wanting to do whatever I need to do. As long as I always feel like I'm having progression, I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Because I know, for me personally, I'm not a huge fan of hack and slash in general. I do get pretty bored with that, just generally speaking, in games when it's just, pushing the same button over and over again. But this was just a blast for me because I'm just physically swinging the sword around, the whole time. And
I can definitely see that being fun, because every time you finish a combo, when you get the enemy almost killed, you'll get that button. I mean, I could have seen that being fun. Like I actually don't own this on Wii. I was a little surprised, but I could see that being fun.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious. I didn't just not want to hook up the Wii ever again. My Wii U is hooked up, unfortunately, but yes. Because of Pokemon Snap. Because when we did Pokemon Snap in the show like 2 years ago, I could not get it to emulate, so I had to buy it on the Wii U and hook up the Wii U.
That's a great game too.
It was fun. I wasn't happy though that I had to pay $10 for a game and hook up my Wii U, but other than that, I was a little irritated. But that's more of the Wii U.
And the one thing I love about this game, and it's part of the Wii U's whole natural history, is this is one of those games where it's not your mom's game, as they were advertised, because there's violence and sexy men and sexy women. This went this and that chainsaw game, Mad World, and just a couple other games. Yeah, that were advertised as you're a teenage boy who owns a Wii but don't want to play Mario. Play these games where there's tons of violence.
But we needed that, though. It needed some of that. I actually have Mad World. I never played it either, but I have it next to me. Okay, I forgot about that. Like I forget that like the Wii was such a like don't think about the Wii as much. Yeah, how much of a family console it was, and for lack of a better term. But I mean, this game is. But this, I mean, I think that's one thing that charmed the game. This game is ultra violent, but in a funny way. Like you kill people, you rip their heads off, and then there's blood spurting everywhere. It's just hilarious.
It is. It's really funny, and it's really self-aware.
Yeah. And I love the whole plot that he's just pretty much trying to get laid. I mean, that's the whole plot. He's trying to sleep with Sylvia, which it's just funny.
And like after that first battle, well, after your 10th death medal was the boss in the number 10 rank. After you fight him, and she's kind of got you on camera recording the like cleanup after the battle, and it's just that point of view of like. You're behind the lens of her camera, and he leans in real close, and he's like, all right, Sylvia, if I make it to number 1, will you do it with me? And it's just classic. It's just like, it totally sets the tone at that point. Like, okay, you had your first sort of official boss battle. You've laid out sort of premise at this point, and then now you've laid out the tone, which is like, just that very self-aware humor.
But it works so well.
It does.
Oh, and there's also the really weird, because you fight all these mismatches of random bosses. It kind of has a weird Metal Gear-esque feel to it, because you're really just a random guy at the end of the day.
Yeah, which is I liked it that you're just some guy and you have a beam saber, because I can't say lightsaber obviously for rights.
Beam katana.
Oh, beam katana, that's what it was.
They don't even call it a saber. Yeah, no, that's what's hilarious is I mean, you still get it though, right? I mean, it's obviously a lightsaber, but it's like we never say that.
Hell, the last one you get is essentially the lightsaber from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, the handle is very close to it. It's a green, so like it's 100%.
Yeah.
Luke saber.
Yeah, but never do they call it that.
Because they can't.
Katana.
But that's part of also what works well. Yeah, I was also surprised. Like, I found it hilarious because before every call, you're talking to Sylvia, and she's always doing stuff, and it didn't click until when the story goes on. Like, she's always spending a ton of money on stuff. Like, she's getting massages, and he's like, "Who's massaging you?" Like, all sorts. I was always cracking up at all those jokes.
Yes, she's getting a massage, or she's in like a fancy nightclub or something. Yeah, she's always, she's at yoga class. She's always doing something sort of. High end, real housewife kind of behavior.
It's funny shit. It really worked well with the story of what you're going. Like, it's such a just strange game.
Well, one thing that I guess we can go into it to go through the bosses just a little bit one by one, because replaying the game kind of makes you realize like some of the things you see, and it makes sense because at the end of the day, there is no association. That's the big twist for the end of the game. I think, what is it? Sylvia's mother calls and reveals it to you.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, she's always, that little scamp. She's always, conning men, tricking them like that, and it's like, oh, what a twist. But go ahead.
Yeah, and the idea is that she's, from what I gathered, and this is my the way I see it, because this game, if Sue doesn't confirm it, it's in some way true. But I feel like she's hiring assassins to fight you, but she's skimming like 90% of the money, because I believe the first guy you fight doesn't know who you are, doesn't know why you're there, and you kill him and go over with it. And the second guy, which is Dr. Peace,
the
guy with the revolvers, it implies like he had like a final meal, and like most of the money that you gave was just for him to eat really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And but I feel like the other way is if she doesn't, paying them isn't enough, she kind of convinces them to kill you, because sometimes it's kind of like, oh yeah, no, you're just kind of it sounds like you're kind of a hit, because Shinobu thinks you killed her father.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming Sylvia just
Yeah.
told her that.
Right. Yeah. So Sylvia, to me, really represents the using all aspects of like the sort of villainess, like feminine wiles, kind of using like all aspects of that power or ability. Because in my view, yeah, she was either with these various assassins paying them off, or sleeping with them, or having like, yeah, like sort of gossipy, like, Shinobu's like seemingly like a younger girl than Sylvia. So it's like, pulling her aside and being like, listen, like he's the guy that killed your father, so like that kind of stuff. So, either being like a gossipy woman, or, seducing the assassins, or paying them off, or, just using all aspects of those sort of like evil feminine wiles kind of thing. So yeah.
Okay, I didn't put two and two together about. I was like wondering why she thought he killed. But this is my first time playing this. I didn't know like the complete twist of what it was going for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's cool. That makes a lot more sense, and that adds another like thing to it, what she's really up to. Okay, cool. And that makes sense why the price keeps increasing too, because she's paying the assassins to get them to kill you. With it all being a setup for you to fight, would you find out it's your sister in the very end?
Right.
Well, even then, that goes into its own like big kind of twist, because you get to the, I think right right after your quote unquote fake dad dies. It's
Under Ryu.
Yeah, it's revealed that no, it's before Jean. It's either before or after Jean punches was it Dark Star? I think she punches him through the dick.
Yeah, Dark Star. Yeah.
But it's revealed technically Sylvia is also doing what Travis wanted, because he was at a bar filling his guts out to a random woman. So I guess she kind of still works in a way too, where she's like, oh, I can pretty much scam this guy by stealing money from him, but I can still technically get him what he wants at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, I remember reducing that part. I guess I didn't really put two and two together, but okay, that makes sense. That's what he's doing then. And hey, she's a con artist. I mean, that's what you do with a con. You figure out somebody's weakness and you take advantage of it. So,
Yep.
I mean, it worked in this game very well.
Yeah, no, she's very good at it.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, because the game is mostly broken up. Like we were saying, the different boss fights. You go to an area, you fight a bunch of enemies, and you just kill random people. And then you get to a boss fight. And the boss fights actually felt pretty impressive. None of them felt super challenging, except for a couple were really, really hard, or one in particular. But like, I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. I liked the different areas, and I enjoyed just running through an area. I guess because the dopamine hit the money. But I can see the motion controls being a lot of fun too if you're killing everything.
Yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about the second boss, Dr. Peace, with the revolvers. He was fine. And I did like when I was fighting all the baseball guys, I kept thinking of the movie Warriors. That's what it really felt like to me.
Yeah.
That
There's quite a theme of baseball throughout the game.
That's a Suda 51 thing. I was watching the speedrun. They were talking about that he just loves.
He clearly is into baseball.
I am not at all, but
No, I'm not either.
Can't be bothered.
Yeah. But then after Dr. Peace is Shinobu, and you're in like a school.
Yeah, because she's a child.
Because she's basically so young. She's up in this classroom.
I liked her fight. I thought she was a fun fight.
She's tough, but yeah.
I enjoyed it. I have a question for both of you. When did you guys find out that you could hold down and do a charge attack?
Oh.
I feel like I didn't figure it out right away, but it was pretty early.
Okay. So not the final boss after you died 4 times and look up a YouTube video of what to do because you just cannot get it to work?
No. This was probably after death metal sometime. I was like, oh, okay.
I did not figure it out until I was trying to beat the final boss. I died 4 or 5 times, and I was about to text Joe, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to... I mean, we still would have done it, but I might not beat this game. This might be another game on the list I can't beat. And I looked up a YouTube video, and then I watched the guy charge his sword. I'm like, what?
Oh, I've got a worse one for you, because that's how I figured out how I could do the charge attack. Did either of you get the 777s during your combos or whatever?
Yeah.
Once, yes.
Okay, how do you activate it?
I didn't activate it, I don't think. I don't know.
I just remember kind of moving my wrist in a way that activated. I don't remember specifically. Did you not figure out how to activate it?
It's the minus button.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be tough if you. Yeah. No, I don't remember having an issue.
The game does not tell you.
I can believe that.
The game does not tell you. The game does not tell you what that does. It doesn't say anything. You just get a 7 in the corner. And I remember, I think it was a YouTuber that was playing it because he was talking about the beginning, and he's like, "Oh yeah, look, I got a 7." And 'cause I think he was like a test. I think it's Matt McMuscles who's a tester for the game,
Hmm.
and he was talking about how it's like, "Oh yeah, they don't tell you. It's just in the list of controls they give you." But it's only in the booklet in the Wii if you bought a new copy. Because I mean, if you buy a used copy, sometimes the book's not in there,
No,
and
it's gone.
it's not in the instructions for the Switch. I know that for a fucking fact. And so I looked it up because I remember him being like, "Oh yeah, you have to hit a weird button to do it." And I looked it up. It's like, "Oh yeah, hit the minus button. It's a insta kill move."
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't
And
think I never did it because I didn't know. I just saw it and I just
Yeah,
kept
no,
playing.
I mean, it's super rare, but
yeah,
yeah, no, that's so funny.
But it also, I feel like it fits the game well to have things that you don't realize that are there.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's just that
Little
type of game.
nuggets. And it being that, that slot machine, you get those special moves, and I mean, the first time where it's like strawberry on the shortcake, and you're like, what is even happening?
what couple of those did y'all get?
I don't.
I know I got all of them, all those desserty title ones. I know I got all of them, at some point throughout the game.
Yeah, I want to say there's like 4, and it's like like a slash attack that sends out like a beam that slices enemies in half. I
Mhm.
believe there's one that I think if you just you attack enemies super quickly. There's 2 of them that you have the same look where Travis gets blonde hair, and
Yeah.
it's either you hit a button at the right time and it insta kills them, and then the other one is some kind of just like another fast attack, and then when you hit the end, the arrow spins in any direction. You can attack them however way you want to.
Yeah, you can just slash in any direction.
It was cool though. I mean, they would make the battles go by really fast, which was always nice whenever
Mhm.
they would come up.
I was not ever really great at the wrestling moves.
For since you were playing on with motion control, did you have to like move the Wiimotes then, like the different directions?
Yeah, it was like both hands, jerk up really quick or down really quick or in opposite directions or in the same direction, and getting the timing right on that was always not difficult, but more difficult than just swinging your katana one-handed. And I was always like, whoops, oh.
I didn't do a lot of wrestling moves. I skipped them most of the time.
Yeah. Well, and you can get away with skipping them most of the time, but they do contrive some sorts of scenarios where it's like you have to use them. And I was always like, oh shit.
Yeah, because there were a couple missions that made you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there were like bonus missions that were like wrestling moves only.
Yeah, that was I never liked those.
Yeah, those were tough.
Also, like another thing that makes this game really different is in between the boss fight, when you're playing the regular game, you have to make more money in order to get to the next fight that we were talking about, and you have to do you have random you have assassination missions that you can do, which is just like go into a fight and kill these guys a certain way, or kill a certain guy, or kill these people in an amount of time. And you also have side jobs, which I think are the more hilarious ones, where you just do like random shit. Like the last one you get is picking up scorpions in a garden, picking up trash is one of them, cutting grass. Like they're amusing though.
Yeah, gathering cats.
I like that. And then one time I lost a cat, I hit the wrong button, the cat just left.
I know, yeah, sometimes if you don't do it right, they just like walk away and you're like, no.
That's a cat though.
Uh-huh. No, it's very true.
That's what cats do. Like they don't like that. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna leave you. Bye.
The side jobs really added to the tone of it because, as you become more and more powerful, it becomes almost more and more degrading to have to do these like side hustle jobs, and they just are so silly, where it's like, yeah, go scrub graffiti off the dirty buildings.
I enjoyed them actually. Like I didn't have a problem. I know some people I think complain about doing like side jobs or having to do like the random little assassination mission. I enjoyed all that. I'm like, this is fun. This was a nice little break.
Yeah. I certainly enjoyed it as the player, but just within sort of the.
Oh yeah, no, the context. Yeah, I know it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I wish like the mini games, which it's funnier because in 2 they become a lot better. But I wish the mini games weren't kind of so spread out, because a lot of times, which I think is weird, that I do love about this game, some of the mini games are really good and really quick cash, and other ones kind of didn't see a point to, because a lot of them were like way too spread out, like the wall cleaning one and the scorpion one and the bomb defusal one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some
But
of felt like you didn't get much money for them.
Yeah.
It's almost, yeah.
But you do them, and I mean, for me, like, you do them and you unlock the next one. So I was like, okay, that worked for me.
Yeah, well, and that's what's always interesting too, right? Is you're talking to your boss for the day, and if you do a good enough job on your shitty little side hustle, then he's like, all right, I've got something darker for you, you know, I've got this assassination mission for you, you know, this is where the real work gets done.
And that helped push me, knowing that was always there.
Yeah.
I know I didn't have a problem. Like, plus it was kind of nice just to have something that wasn't intensive after a boss fight, just to go chill and just play the game.
Right.
That really worked well for me.
No, it did break it up in an interesting way for sure.
And I didn't have, like, one of the complaints I was hearing people talk about this game, like the completionist, it was like the open world is kind of bland, which is true, but I don't mind that in games, especially in a game where I'm going from mission to mission. I don't mind a bland open world. I'm fine with it.
I don't either. And in fact, I feel like this game kind of uses that to its favor in a way, because, you know, you can ride your bike around, but if you get out and walk, or eventually you can run, but you find stuff, right? You find stuff sort of in this, you know, it admittedly can be a kind of bland environment, but I mean, every dumpster in every back alley will have some sort of like, those are basically chests, right?
Yeah.
They will have some sort of prize for you, or t-shirts or money or whatever. You can find money like randomly buried in the ground. So it rewards you kind of like running around in that open world. And I enjoy doing that. I will just run around in Santa Destroy all day and just love it. So
it was nice. Like,
the roaming aspect of it.
I'm also a big fan of Arkham Origins, which is I mean, there's more stuff to do than in that world, but it's not. A lot of people complain that world's very empty, but sometimes it's nice just to traverse from one spot to another before your missions. For me, like, it's just, I'm okay with not. I just want to just travel. I don't want to do anything. Yeah,
and what's nice too is if you get too far away, you can call your bike.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I was always running around and just seeing what was around and stuff.
So they have those, like, I found one of those light call bulbs or whatever they're called, little random objects. Are there only 7 of them, or are there a ton more?
It's 49.
Yeah, I was going to say there's way more than that.
Okay, do you need to get all of them?
I mean, whenever you get them, you can go back to that guy in the bar and he'll, you know, teach you new technique.
Okay, because I got 7 of them. I paid him once, and then I never bothered again.
Yeah, no, if you do it again and again and again and again, he'll teach you all of these different techniques. And that's what when I said, like, eventually you can run, that's one of them is you get like a dash that he teaches you. And so you can like, run faster. And that's just one of the many skills.
That's the only one he taught me, because I was scared for a second when I saw them do the charge strike at the end. I'm like, oh God, I hope that isn't one of the things. I don't want to have to go find those balls again, because I'm not big into searching for little items in an open world map. That's just not my thing.
Oh, okay. That is my thing. I like doing that. So I did find all of those eventually. Yeah.
I mean, if I do, it's where I get an internet map up and I start marking things down. I was like, I'm not. I mean, luckily it's only 7, so it wouldn't have been too hard to figure out like what I was missing. But I'm like, I'm not interested.
Well, and you don't have to do it. It's all bonus stuff. Technically, yeah. I mean, you could skip it completely, but yeah, I think it's worth it to just to get all those skills that he teaches you by like kicking your ass. Apparently, it's sort of like whenever he teaches you a skill, it's like the screen goes black and then you just hear him like beating the shit out of you.
That's so funny about this game. There's just so much stupid shit that's just hilarious. Like,
it's hilarious.
And being in the open world map, like, you have lots of, like, I mean, you have different things you go to. You have the training store, which I always find hilarious. The guy's like, take off all your clothes, and then when you're doing the little training mini games, I swear the song playing in the background is a riff on Eye of the Tiger, because I heard the do, and then but a little different enough so it wasn't soup.
It's definitely a sound alike for Eye of the Tiger.
Was it the screen whenever you go up in rank totally sounds like the opening to Star Wars? So
Oh,
I mean,
I didn't catch that.
mm-hmm.
I just caught the Eye of the Tiger when I was like, wait a second, this because I heard the doot doot doot, and I'm like, huh.
Yeah. It's one of those like legally distinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like when you have to do like the little mini game with the squats and stuff. And I mean, it was like really simple, just hit both the analog sticks down. But I really liked it.
I was gonna say I was actually squatting. I was
Yeah.
actually like doing the workout. So
Fun. It was
But
a
yeah.
little, I mean, you get extra attack power and stuff, and just a
Right.
little upgrade.
Yeah, so you've got the gym that you go to. You've got the Beefhead video, so you can go there and rent your wrestling videos to acquire skills that way. But then it's funny too because between each mission you always inevitably get a voicemail on your, or I guess yeah, it's like an answering machine from Beefhead because your porn is overdue.
Your
That
porn
was
is,
always hilarious to me too.
your porn is overdue, or you sent them the wrong tape, or you recorded and only sent them back like the first 3 minutes of one of them, or some other just random goofy shit.
Yeah. And isn't the guy that works at Beefhead, is he another Killer 7 character?
No, he's so very, very minor spoilers because it is the point of the next game. In the next game, he's basically one of the important characters that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bishop.
Yeah. And then he's also who brings you your bike when you
Yes.
call him. Yeah. And then where else do you go? You go to the weapons lab with Naomi.
Oh yeah, because you give her a couple things. You can buy a few upgrades from her.
Yeah.
I didn't get all of them. I got most of them. There was one I missed.
That's
And
fine.
then Area 51 is the other place then, which is the clothing store.
Oh yeah, I went there once, bought one shirt, and never went back.
Oh, dude, you gotta fill out
I don't buy clothes in
wardrobe.
games. I have saved all my money.
But all the outfits are in cutscenes, so my Travis is wearing all black.
That makes more sense for him though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I bought one shirt that said something about no more heroes, and then 11 or something like that. Then I didn't buy anymore.
Oh, no, I had to get every shirt, every pair of sunglasses, every pair of pants.
Yeah, but I like that. That's there. Like, I mean, and this is the kind of game where you could just farm money if you wanted to, just so you could then buy everything. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And then I think it's the fourth boss you fight, which is Destroy Man, which is my least favorite.
I
didn't like this guy at all.
I like Destroy Man. That's one of my favorite ones.
Okay. I guess he really annoyed me because I was struggling with him at first too. He's a postal worker that ends up killing all these people, then puts on like a freaking like superhero costume.
Right. Right.
So,
and he's got that real like Goku kind of like he's so delighted and like polite and like oh, I'm so glad that I get to fight you today, man. Like, and it's just there to an extent I was sort of like, all right.
I don't know. I just did not like him.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part is the part where Travis goes, "Well, go ahead and change your outfit, Mr. Cosplay." And the way he says it is just like really out of nowhere, but just really fucking funny.
It's really funny. No, he hits that line perfectly. Yeah.
I think because I had a hard time. Like, it took me a second. Like, he flies up, and I didn't know how to get him to come down. I had to go break something in the room, and he falls down. That's how I did. I guess you could shoot the ball back at him.
Yes. No, that's right. Yeah. The stage kind of falls apart at a certain point. I think that's what irritated me about that fight too. Is that like I would kind of lose him at times, and he hits you with that big beam, and I would have to like oh shit, where did he go?
I think I almost died too, or did die. I don't know, because I remember being irritated, so it must have been. I think I almost died.
Yeah, no, I think he killed me once or twice, because he's just he's an interesting. Like, I sort of respected just the diversity of that character, just especially like coming off of like having just beaten Shinobu. And it's just this guy, and you're like, okay, Mr. Cosplay.
You get somebody you want to kill, because that's how I felt too. I'm like, I didn't really want to kill Shinobu. I mean, you just cut off her arm, but I'm like, I wanted to kill this guy. I'm like, this guy needs to die.
Well, yeah, and I think they were going for like a bit more comic relief because Shinobu got pretty serious at the end there, and then he's just a wacky guy.
It also like shows how durable Travis is because he like electrocutes him and then like pelvic thrusts him into the wall, and like Travis is like bouncing all over the goddamn fucking
Uh-huh.
area.
Uh-huh.
And he shoots laser beams from his crotch, which is also hilarious too.
Yeah.
He has machine gun nipples as well.
Right.
It was hilarious though. And then the fifth boss, I don't remember her name. It's on the beach.
That's Holly, right?
Holly Summers.
This to me, so I did this fight 4 times successfully.
Yeah.
Not on purpose. I ran into a glitch on my Steam Deck where when I would beat the fight, the game would glitch at the screen where you have to pick when it shows you what rank you are, and it just wouldn't load. I did the fight a couple times where I'm like, okay, and then I had to download this on my PC, play it on my PC, get past that part, and then I was fine. And I went back to my Steam Deck.
Okay.
I mean, it's not the game's fault.
With her, I just got stuck in the like. You dig these holes in the sand, and you got to crawl out of them. I just kept getting stuck in there. But
it was a really good boss fight. Like I was surprised how much I enjoyed that boss fight. Like I did not expect that. It was just interesting, and it's like you actually kind of like it's one of the few characters where you kind of care too because like I think she has a prosthetic leg too, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Because she essentially got blown up because she's all about mines and like their whole level is about mines. You're on a beach and you're fighting army soldiers and everything, working your way to get to her, and then it's like you don't even want to kill her. Like the whole fight. The fight also took a little bit for me because I was the same thing. I kept falling in the holes and I died a couple times on her too because I get caught up in her missile attacks. Like I beat her the first time, no sweat. Second time, no sweat. Both times it froze, and then I couldn't. Then I died a couple times. I'm like, come on now, I just beat her like multiple times. I was getting irritated, but I don't know. I really like this fight, and this made me also think about wanting to do another top 10 episode on the show about boss fights. Because this was a boss fight that really stood out to me. How she fights you with a shovel and she's digging holes and putting you in. You fall in holes and she throws grenades in the holes. Like, I don't know. It was really amusing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and it's kind of at this point in the game. You're at a bit of a halfway point, and it's when you start to really realize like how different each boss really is. And I know at this point was when I started questioning like wow, if at this point we're still under the impression that like the Assassins Association is like a legit thing and these people are really ranked in accordance with that, it's sort of like I just found myself during the fight with her like starting to really question like, oh, okay, this is so interesting, like so she's more powerful than the last guy I just fought. Yeah, no, I enjoyed her quite a bit.
It gave me a lot of Metal Gear vibes too. Like when you Metal Gear 3 vibes to be particular.
Sure.
Like you kill her, then you carry her to have her buried and stuff, and like you're all sad and she kills herself essentially.
Yeah, no, it does. It's another one that gets kind of serious at the end there.
It really reminded me of the boss.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Boss. So it was. It kind of hit me. I was like, okay, this is it's a little different on this comical game here to have like one that had more meaning to it. It felt
right.
You also get like this really good like idea of kind of the character Travis is, because besides him being a weirdo fuckhead, he also is a decent person because I think he refuses to kill Shinobu because he cut her hand off, and then even when with Holly, he's like, I won, I'm not gonna kill you, and she's like, not how that works. I'm gonna eat this grenade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just sad. Good. Just sad. It started to get me more. I think that's really kind of the turning point in this game, and I really started to appreciate this game more. Was this fight?
Yeah.
Also,
no, seriously, for me, that was like I said, when I started sort of thinking about the game, it was sort of like, oh, okay, this is really something. But so then after that, I think is when you end up with the let's shake Dr. Brain fight that ends up just being
nothing.
Introduction, yeah. ends up just you get to that point, and I guess this is the true halfway point because you get to what would have been this crazy boss fight with this wacky guy and this Dr. Brain thing, and then in comes Henry and he just ends it. So
I was really thrown for a loop. And also, when I saw that part, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be the real. Like, this guy is somehow gonna be like either number one or somehow involved as a final boss fight. Because it just, he just comes in, kills your enemy after you went through all like this whole level, and nothing happens, and they're like, yeah, you won. And he's like, what? But I gotta fight somebody. He's like, nope, you won. It's fine. And then it makes more sense as you understand where the story is going yourself. He's like, yep, it's good. Don't worry about it. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. In the moment, though, you really feel like you're left hanging, though, because you're so geared up for a fight, and then it's just like, oh, over. Don't worry about it.
It does a good job in tricking you and kind of leading on with a story that you don't expect either, because you don't see where it's going. You're not supposed to.
See. Oh, go ahead.
Because you're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to I didn't get any. I thought it was weird, but I didn't have any idea where it was going to go with him.
Yeah. Well, and the world leading up to what would have been that fight was just kind of this like narrow passage that you're going through, like even that was a little like, where am I going? What is going on? I'm just trying to keep my eye out for the wrestling cards so I don't miss any of those.
I did collect a lot of those too. I don't know what they do. I would just grab them because they were there.
So.
I had such a I've played through this a couple times, and every playthrough I've missed at least one. It's never the same one. I don't think I've ever gotten them all in a single playthrough, but I have like collectively.
Okay. I don't go for I can't go for collection stuff like that. I just don't care enough. I mean, I grabbed them, I saw them, but I'd look for stuff just because.
You're like, I'm a collector in real life.
Yeah, mostly now Steam, unfortunately, which isn't really collecting, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get to the next boss. I think that would be the 7th boss. Who was the 7th one?
So was this the magician?
Oh,
this was the Harvey
Mosewicz Woldarski, the magician.
Right.
This is where you ride the subway stuff. Subway stuff was kind of cool.
He's supposed to be Chris Angel.
Yeah.
Oh.
It is like a Chris Angel type for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And this is where you have a random mini game here too, where you like are a little mech in a shoot 'em up game.
Yeah.
That threw me for a loop when that happened. I'm like, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Because it doesn't matter. You can die as many times as you end up. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it's a true just bonus sort of aside. But yeah, no, I loved that. I love that it just throws you into that with no warning.
It reminded me again of a Snake Eater, because there's a small in the original PS2 version of Snake Eater. If you go to sleep in the bed at a certain in the torture after you've been tortured, he'll just end up in a Devil May Cry minigame.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
Reminded me of that. If you talk, I think you have to talk to Signet for. It's been a long time, but yeah, it reminded me of that because he falls asleep on the train. It was just weird. This was also a weird. This was a weird but funny boss. Like you show up to the magician, the magic show, and it's just you and Sylvia sitting there, and there's nobody else.
Yeah. In this big theater auditorium. Yeah.
It's also it was a very weird fight where you're upside down for different parts, and it was just a very strange boss fight, I felt.
Yeah, they took some chances with this, and the angles on things, and the camera really twists around and does some crazy stuff. But I liked it. I thought it worked, and there were these sort of cutaways, and I'm a fairly, I guess, I don't know if I would say I'm still a Magic fan. I used to be a pretty big Magic fan, and so like this appealed to me from that point of view. It's pretty popular in the Magic community to hate on those Chris Angel types. So I was just like, yes, kill him.
I used to like David Copperfield when I was younger.
Yeah.
I never watched any of the Chris Angel stuff. I didn't care. He seemed too stupid to me.
Yeah. No, I mean he's kind of a joke in the genre. So I enjoyed just getting to
kill him.
Shit out of somebody like that. Yeah.
And Joe, what did you think of this fight?
I think it's a pretty weird fight, and you can see him trying to mix things up. But I think this is also whenever the fights start introducing insta kills, because if you get caught in his weird box and you don't escape out in time, I think you die instantly.
Oh, okay. I mean, caught in it, obvious, but I never was in it long enough. But yeah, I don't like instant kills, but this game did have a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Too harshly punished. I mean, you usually get to just start right over again. But yeah.
Yeah, it's still annoying. I mean, I didn't notice insta kill until the next boss. That was where I ran into an insta kill.
Yeah,
This is my favorite, if it's the one I think it is.
The next one,
Buster.
yeah,
Yeah.
This the girl with a baseball bat?
no, that's the next one. That's number 2. Number 3 is Speed Buster. You go to a different town, and you're the guy that trains you is there for some reason.
Oh God! Okay, I hated this one.
And so you have to, because your cat gets involved briefly. you have to sort of chase the cat to this location.
That was funny. I thought it was weird. I saw like in the cutscene, like every time you leave your house and the cat leaves with you, I'm like, why is the cat like? I'm like, okay, is that supposed to happen? And then
No, it feels like a mistake at first, doesn't it? It feels like, oh, I fucked up. I let the cat out.
I mean, I personally had stress about that because I have my kitten that meowed when this episode started, which we'll probably still be in. She likes to escape sometimes and run out the door. Except when she runs out the door, what she'll do is she'll run to the neighbor's house, run down a hill. But she'll meow at you constantly, so you chase her, and then when she's done, she'll stop, and then you pick her up and take her back home.
Good kid.
But there's one time she ran in the snow, and then she found out it's cold, and she just stood in the snow and just looked at me and meowed angrily, like I'm like, you're the dumbass that ran outside and let you out.
She's like, why did you do this? Why did you make it cold?
And then one time, a couple days ago, she was trying to escape, and I saw her, and I was letting the dog in, and I saw her running, so I put my foot out, and she ran into my foot, and she spent the next 5 minutes just yelling at my wife about it, just meowing at my wife. What horribleness I did to her by not letting her run out the door. But yeah, that's what all made me think of, just cats being cats.
Cats, yeah. But yeah, I think every pet owner in that moment, like, you've had that same cutscene, 5 or 6 or 7 times at this point, and then it's like, oh, now it's the same scene except you see the cat walk out, and I think every pet owner in that moment was like, no, whoops, what did I do? Get the cat.
I really like the fight on the bus because it's a different perspective. Like you see it.
Yeah.
I really like that. I got a big kick out of that. I don't know why,
I did too. Yeah, different
really cool.
different angle on things there.
I don't even. Oh yeah, and this. Okay, so this boss fight. This is where you end up seeing some. I guess your master, which you've never been introduced before, gets killed out of nowhere by a giant laser cannon. You don't even notice like what's happening, and then you have a lady who's just yelling at like, "What? I can't hear you!" as she's putting together her giant gun as you're just standing there. I thought that was once I realized what was happening. This also felt very much like an anime boss or something from an anime.
Yeah. She is like an old witch character.
Yeah, she's kind of like the witch from Howl's Moving Castle too, kind of. Or what?
Mm-hmm.
No, Spirited Away. Sorry, Spirited Away.
Spirited Away. Yeah, no, totally.
Reminded me of that. Like it was just I fucking hate. Again, I didn't know what to do because normally when I play games, I always use guides and I look up everything. And this I didn't. I was mostly just trying to play blind. Like so, this I didn't know what to do right away. It took me a little while to realize. Okay, I got to run in these houses and hide off to the side when she shoots and then keep running towards.
Yes, and I had the same thing because I started just charging straight down at her, and that was obviously ineffective. And then eventually, I realized like, oh, there's all this shit on the side, all this like architecture on the side here. I need to be using that to my advantage and kind of sneaking in and out. And so it was an interesting take on everything up to this point. It's like you're moving through a world to get to the boss, whereas with this it's like you see the boss, she's like right the fuck right there, but you have to weave in and out of all these like side things, and then you've got the sort of drones on the side that you've got to kill,
which was cool. They can get killed by her laser beam too. If you get them to go outside, they'll get murdered.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I did it once or twice by accident where I must have ran out and they followed me. Okay. And they just die. You just hear them scream, and they just get blown up.
Yeah.
It took a little bit for me to figure out you had to hit a pillar, knock a pillar down, which then messes up her cannon, which is then lets you able to get up to her and just murder her instantly.
Yeah, that was not clear. That took me several tries.
You can do that.
How'd you get to her?
I just kept going around. There's like a back hallway somewhere where you can walk like a good 30 feet, and like the whole exit's like right next to her cannon.
No, see, I eventually knocked over the post and did it that way, but it took me several tries.
Okay, I tried. I couldn't get to her, and that's how I ended up I found the post by accident, and I saw a button prompt. I'm like, okay, maybe I thought at first it would just make a path for me to go to, but then it ended up leading to me just being able to knock out her cannon, and I ran at her.
Yeah,
That's cool.
pretty much.
That's cool. There's more than one way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That one is just it frustrated me.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know. I didn't like anything about the fight. It was just like but it was different. So I mean that was nice to have something different.
Plus the cat was okay at the end, so all was well.
And then I think this is where you get the best. You get the parts for the best sword for the beam katana, which then you have to then wait a bit before you can actually get it, but you can do it.
Right, but you have to at least be at this point.
And then in between the mission, whenever you go back to your apartment, you can do stuff in your apartment too. I never did anything, but I know you can play with a cat. You can pet the cat. You can, you can go watch videos, which I did, which end up unlocking new wrestling moves for you, which I never use, but I did anyway.
Have you ever got either of y'all ever got home and like sat down and the cat is like flying around the fucking room? It's like a toy.
Yes, I love it. The first time I got to that point, I remember saying out loud, like, "What are you doing, kitty?" Like, because I was just so like, oh my god, look at the cat, like literally grips onto the ceiling fan, like the string that you pull to control the ceiling fan, and it's just like woo woo woo, just like swinging around, and I was just like, Gene, what are you doing?
That sounds like a cat.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see it. That's cool. Yeah, I never ran into. I wasn't in there I'd get in there and then leave pretty quickly.
I was worried the game would crash because I don't know if I ever had this version crash on me. I know No More Heroes 2 when I played it on the Switch, it did crash, but I was worried something would happen. So I would always save after I deposited the money because I didn't want to end up depositing the money, going to go fight the boss. Something happened at the boss and I didn't save. Or I didn't save before I had to fight the boss and I had to recollect all the money over again.
I get that. I save constantly in this game just to be safe.
Well, and I love how right before each boss you get that phone call from Sylvia reminding you to save your game. But of course she doesn't say like save your game. She says like be sure to use the bathroom.
She also tells you to wash your ass.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
I do find amusing that toilets are how you save. I do find that really amusing.
I know.
I actually had a really hard time figuring out how to get to the second to last fight because I didn't know you could jump. Even though the game tells you to jump, it didn't click right away. And then like I had to watch a video, and then I'm like, oh okay. Then I figured out what to do to get over because I could not. I was like, how the fuck do I get here?
Yeah. So once you get in there, you do. This is my favorite boss and one of my favorite like video game characters, honestly, of all time.
She's great.
Bad Girl. She is just the greatest thing about this game for me.
I mean, I also forgot, because I'm watching a video right now, where when you first get into the fight, it's one of the few times you actually use the motorcycle to fight, and you just run over people.
Yeah.
You can get knocked off.
You sound like you speak from experience.
Yeah, I wonder who got knocked off his bike and had to sit there and run around the goddamn field for like 15 minutes trying to make enemies spawn.
Oh, much easier to just plow them over with your car.
You couldn't get back on it?
No, like I saw that there was one of the chest, and I ran into the chest, and I was like, oh, let me just back up a little bit, and then I got shot by like 4 different guys at once, and it blew me off the bike, and then the bike just disappears.
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's definitely one of those areas where you've just got to like plow forward. Like, yeah.
I can see that being. I don't think I got knocked off. Like, I can't remember now. Like, I've beaten a few games actually since I played this, but I cannot remember.
But you're right. It is the first time that it's really like part of it.
If I remember correctly, there's a part near the end where I was chasing people on the bike in the last mission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wasn't just hallucinating. I was like, I swear I remember doing that in the last mission.
Yeah, this is the first of that though.
But Bad Girl is it's just such a cool, like.
Oh God, I love her so much. Yeah, so like when you get in there and she's got just this fucking conveyor belt of gimps, it's just decapitating them like one by one, and it just kills me. It just every time it's the greatest thing. It's. And just her absolute mania of just, oh, they're all gonna fucking pay with their lives.
Hey, Jessica, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the movie?
No, I haven't.
I don't know why, but whenever Bad Girl showed up, I played this game before, but when she showed up this time, I went, man, It really looks like Envy Adams, which is Captain Marvel.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim's my favorite movie of all time. But
You see it though, Mike, right, Mike?
yes, I do. Now that you mentioned it, yeah, I can see Brie Larson, Emmy Adams. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just love when games have BDSM type representation in some sort of way. Even though this is kind of a joke on it. I still thought it was just funny. I really liked it.
It is a joke, but it's not. It's only a joke in the sense that it's presented so casually.
Yeah. I like
it's as if this is just my collection of gimps that I just keep on a conveyor belt and decapitate one by one. Like,
and then they fight you too.
Shit! Like
at some point during the fight or after the fight, I fought a bunch of them came after me. I remember that.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny too.
But
and
she launches them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that too. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that was. Oh, I also found out she has an insta kill too, where she's on the ground. I went to go hit her, and then she, I think, kicked me in the balls and just beat the shit out of me with the baseball bat, and I just died. I'm like, oh yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, and so I love that for a couple reasons. Even though obviously I'm not like, oh, I love insta kill moves, but just the idea of like, she's so violent, she's so aggressive, she's just coming at you. But then she does this like helpless girl, like fall to the ground and weep, and so she's just crying. And then if you go over to her, it's just bam, you're dead. Like, and so I just love that. I love that, the kind of statement that's making, like, don't let that fool you.
Because I thought she was like stunned or something, so that's why I went up to her. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get some free hits, and she wasn't stunned.
Yeah, no, and I love when you just stand back and you just let her, stay on the ground like that, and then she'll just be like, fuck, and then stand up because like it didn't work.
She's such a badass character. It's so cool. It really made me even more like I was like, I think that's when I really got into this game even more. So I'm like, all right, this game is just awesome.
Well, and she really brings back the whole, she's the second ranked assassin, so obviously she's really good at her job, right? And so, but she sort of repeats that over and over. She's like, you know what? It's just a job, right? It's just a daily grind, People want to judge me. Like, who the fuck are you to judge me? Like, I'm just doing my job, And I'm like, preach it.
I love watching her kill gimps. I don't know. It was just so damn cool.
I know.
And then you get to the final part of the game, which I felt like, because this is where I had a really hard time. Oh, also I did have to throughout the game, because I wanted all the best weapon and everything, so I went through and I went and did some of the missions over again to get extra money. And there's one mission you can farm in this game to get everything pretty easily. Near the end that you unlock, that as I just did it like 4 or 5 times and I had enough money to buy the best sword, and I just quit playing, or I just went to finish the game then.
Yeah.
Because I know there's an enhancement you can get for your sword that makes it that your battery never needs to be recharged, which we haven't talked about yet. But like the joke is, every time you recharge your sword, it looks like he's trying to jack it off, which is just hilarious too. When you're in the middle of a fight, you're trying to recharge your sword.
Well, and this is what you're missing out on, guys, without doing motion controls. Jacking off the controller.
I can see that being pretty hilarious. Somebody's like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's like, okay.
Oh, I just found it hilarious, especially in the middle of a fight. Like, I remember happening to me multiple times. Like, okay, I got run away and trying to get the sword charged up, and then they go hit you in the back.
Yeah.
It's
so funny. Yeah.
It's great. And then like the final part, the Dark Star you're going after, which is not the final boss, or not even the boss you even fight, joke, but like you have I guess you go on the motorcycle and you're going down a highway. Like I thought that was really cool to have a mission where you're running around on the motorcycle.
Yeah. So at this point they've really incorporated your bike into, what you're doing. I guess they assume at this point you've gotten pretty fluent with like driving it around. But yeah, so you don't actually end up, but this is like a twist within a twist within a twist. Is the whole like fake ending kind of scene that plays out here next.
I enjoyed it. I played this game blind for the most part, so I didn't see it coming. Where after you do all the parts, you ride around the motorcycle and you fight people and run around a maze and stuff, and you finally get to the boss fight with Dark Star, he's like, I'm your father. Mm-hmm. He's like, my father died. And then he gets put punched in the balls, you were saying, Joe?
Yeah, he gets punched through the back, through his balls.
Yeah, by Jean, who is
your sister? I thought at first it was like an ex-girlfriend is what it was like, leading to, but then it leads to it's your sister.
Well, they definitely imply that. They try to imply that at first. I think they want you to think that, and then when it's revealed that, like, no, this is your sister, and then it's like, oh.
Well, you're both half right.
Please continue. Please.
So, I love this game so much. Like I said, back in the day, I didn't have a Wii, so I tried to absorb as much media of this game as I can. And Suda51 is a freak when it comes to like saying things off topic or in interviews. Like, so you said you haven't played Killer is Dead, right, Mike?
No, not yet.
Have you played it, Jessica?
No.
So the main characters, they all have like one guy's half a robot, another woman can grow like 15 arms, and then the main character has like a weird kind of cyborg arm. And during one of the interviews, they asked Suda, so why do the main characters all have these powers? And he straight up goes, oh, the SEAL Team 6 that killed Osama bin Laden? Yeah, that was them. And they absorbed his evil energy, and that's why they all have powers. But in the game, later on, it explains why he has powers, and then later on, someone asked Suda, wait, why'd you say that if it's actually different in the game? I didn't want to spoil the game, so that was like the best idea I came up with. But
that's funny.
Part of the original, it's probably like in a book too, because this game has tons of concept art because there's tons of different designs for these characters. Travis bought the motorcycle and the Bloodberry, which is the original Beam Katana, off of eBay. And he was at the bar crying because he was sad because he was going to use that to go kill Jean. But he was broke still, so we couldn't figure out where he was at. And that's where he met, the hell's her name?
Sylvia.
And Sylvia ends up doing this whole thing. Well, Travis knew Jean when they were kids because you can slow down the dialogue she has. And Travis's dad was married to her mom. And then he ended up molesting her and they got divorced, and he moved down the road, got a new wife, and then had a pair of, which you find out later, but a pair of twins. And I guess for some reason, Travis would go down the street and play with her, and they were like, it was like his childhood crush. And that's why the cat's also named Jean that he owns.
Oh, okay.
You do the weird thing where you name your cat after the girl you liked because you got rejected. And then that's why also she walks back down the block and murders your parents because of what happened.
So you actually slowed down her.
Oh, there's a video on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube where she explains all of it.
Okay. Because yeah, I mean, it's obviously meant to be funny, where it's like this fast forwarded, speech.
That's what I thought too until he sent me the video. I'm like, oh, okay, that's dark.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all.
It's cool that it's actually there. Like they actually, I thought it was just like there was gonna be nothing there, but when you actually sent me the video, it's like, wow, they actually put stuff in there. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I fucking hated this fight, and I was ready to quit the game because I didn't think I'd be able to do it. I just want to go into this because at first, like, she blocks all your attacks. You really can't hit her. I couldn't figure out, like, I looked up a guide and like, oh, just attack her when she taunts. I'm like, okay, well, that didn't work either. Like, okay, you attack after her combo. I'm like, well, that doesn't work. Like, I just could not get her for the life of me. And every boss fight in this game has a chest that gives you full health. Well, in this fight, there is no chest that gives you full health. You just get a little bit of health. So that didn't help. I was just having a hell of a time until I looked up a video and I saw the guy do the charge attack because you can't block the charge attack all the time. And that's how I beat her. I could not get it. Like, she would just murder me until I figured that out.
She is tough, even though I knew to use the charge attack. I still struggled with her for a couple of times. But yeah. So then
difficult fight.
Yeah. And then
it made it possible though. Like if I wouldn't know about that charge attack, I don't think I would have done it because I don't know how you're supposed to hit her otherwise. You can't get her. Like she has a very brief opening after combos, but it's very tough. You can't do wrestling moves because she countered those. I thought, okay, you got to stun her. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. She counters all that. Like this was a ridiculous fight to me until then I got charge attack, and it was still really hard, but very much more reasonable.
Yeah, but so at this point you are ostensibly number one. So
Which doesn't mean does Sylvia not show up then, if I remember correctly? Like she's not in because she doesn't answer your call. Or this is when you figure out it's all a con because her mother calls you shortly before this fight, I think.
She's in the background whenever you kill Jean. Travis is like, oh, it's finally over.
Okay.
And I don't think you only see her after you do the fight with Henry, the secret boss fight for Henry.
Right. So so then after the thing I had talked about at the beginning when the guy comes in and attacks you on the toilet after you've beaten Jean, Henry comes in and kills that guy. So now you got to go fight Henry in the parking lot if you select real ending.
I like that that's an option. Also, we should say Shinobu comes and saves you in the Jean fight and cuts off her arm.
That's correct. So setting up for Shinobu being a recurring character in future games, which she is. Yeah. So.
You don't even see. Also, the guy that you were saying that you think is Smith, you don't see his face.
You don't see his face.
No, you don't, and so that's why it's me kind of connecting the dots there.
But he has the same.
Super obvious.
If I remember correctly, the guy in Killer 7 has a white suit with a purple shirt for the black guy.
Yeah, it's the same outfit and it's the same voice actor.
Oh, okay, so it's the same. Okay, that's cool.
I think it's meant to definitely be an allusion to him.
Technically, everybody in Killer 7 is dead too, because all the assassins are dead that you are. All the personas.
Sure.
Oh, no, I never played Killer 7. Probably gonna go buy. It's like $5, so I'm probably gonna buy it real quick.
It's a good game. It's really strange. Even compared to this, it's a very strange game. You fight a guy with an afro that chases after you at one point through ambulances. It's a boss fight. So just gonna put that out there. But no, it's a very, very good game. I recommend it. But yeah, it's in Killer 7, which is it's explained right in the beginning. They're all your personas of all these dead people, and the one guy that can like pull out the persona, something like that. But yes, okay, that's cool. I did not get that connection, but now that I was watching the cutscene again, like that definitely makes sense.
Well, there's tons of stuff about this game, which I'll bring up here once we get through all of it. Suda51 was not sure that this game was going to sell well, and it's because he was I don't think a lot of his games really sell well. So I think he's always had this constant worry that they won't, because the ending to this game is really weird in context. Because after you
keep going, sorry.
After you beat Henry, you guys kind of have like a rundown towards the street, and what is that? They make a joke at Duke Nukem Forever, which I think is fucking hilarious. And it pulls out to show a picture, and I believe the little girl's supposed to be Travis and Sylvia's daughter, and then that ends up being retconned away, and then it ends up being brought back again.
Okay.
Okay. But he made it kind of like that because he's like, well, if they give me a sequel, I'll make a sequel. Well, what if they don't make a sequel? Oh, then the ending where Travis gets killed is canon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he left it open to interpretation and reinterpretation.
Okay. I just thought it was funny when Henry's like, yeah, Sylvia's my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, she's got expensive taste. And I thought that was just hilarious.
Well, and what does he say? She's a good woman, but a bad wife, or
something like that, yeah.
Or she's a bad wife, but a good woman. I think I flipped that, yeah.
Travis makes the gross comment of, oh yeah, she's a real good woman.
That's it. Yeah.
It was just weird. It was also not a very hard fight either, which was nice. I was really worried after fighting Jean that this was going to be a really hard fight, and it really wasn't bad at all.
No, it's a bit of a victory lap, which I think is by design. But
so is this your brother?
What do you mean?
Right? He calls you brother in the.
Yeah, it's the other Star Wars twist. They're twins.
Oh, okay. That's it's just so weird. And that's No More Heroes.
Yeah, that's No More Heroes.
I didn't even see I did see the ending where you have the little girl looking at the painting of them and then okay, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and she says like, "Oh, you like that painting, Jean?" So it's like, her name is also Jean.
Oh, too bad there won't be a sequel. Didn't see that. Which is kind of funny. I mean, we played this in 2022, or at least I did for the first time, and then there's definitely a sequel. There's 3 sequels actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a few of them actually. So yeah,
with the 4th one already announced.
That's cool. I'm glad that this is done well.
Mm-hmm.
Enough for that. And Joe, you said you had parodies you wanted to mention, or references, I should say.
Oh yeah, there's tons of references. Besides me going through a couple of stuff we just talked about now, the Star Wars reference. Travis Touchdown is literally modeled after Johnny Knoxville.
I can see it.
Yeah. Travis's original design also includes him having Han Solo's Buster, his gun, for some reason. Yeah, just copious amounts. His final lightsaber, the hilt, it's in Japanese. That says tiger, and like I said, just all the other couple numerous amounts of stuff that we've already gone through. But this game
that
has
could be a Highlander reference because in Highlander, his katana, Duncan MacLeod's katana, has a tiger on it.
oh.
I love Highlander, so that's what I'm going to say is the Highlander.
And isn't your hotel room supposed to be like the Memento hotel room?
Is it the Memento hotel room?
Maybe I made that up, but
I mean, I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, he did live out of a motel.
I've never seen Memento, so
okay, yeah,
Go into it without knowing anything about it. It's the best way to watch it.
yeah, for sure.
Good movie though. The guy that will eventually direct a terrible Batman movie called Dark Knight Rises. Not a fan, but yeah, you should watch it.
I think the other one is what is it during your final speech with Henry? I think the idea is also supposed to be there. Besides them being twins as a Star Wars reference, it's also a Devil May Cry reference because people always think Virgil's the cooler brother to Dante.
Okay,
and that's
he is.
Yeah. Besides all the other stuff that we talked about, I think that's pretty much a vast majority of them.
I swear there's a reference at one point when he says something. He's like, "Put me in, coach." I mean, I know that could just be a baseball reference, but to me, it always, whenever I hear "Put me in, coach," I just think of the song "Center Field" by John Fogerty. That's how I took it. I'm like, I swear that's what he's. I'm like, that's what he's referencing in my head. I love that song. So no, it was just okay. Anything else you guys want to say before we go on to questions, comments, and memories? I have a few to read, not many, but a few.
No, I say go for it.
Right. I didn't get a whole lot, but from the I Watched Entire Or Blood Super Replay group, I have two. First from Carl Klein. This game felt like a fever dream back in the day. The soundtrack is great and the style is better. And from Rachel Lancaster, the whole game was pretty cool, but the thing I remember strongest was a mechanic where the freaking Wii remote rang like a phone, and Mike Lancaster instinctively put it to his ear. The audio of the phone call only came through the speaker in the Wiimote. It was such a small thing, but it was freaking brilliant. Other games may have done it since then, but No More Heroes was the first so far as I know.
You know what? that was really brilliant. I remember genuinely having the Wiimote in my hand and sort of like, where's that noise coming from? And then realizing it's coming from the speaker, and then like moving my head closer to it, and then realizing like, oh, it's like I'm on a phone. Like it just hit me like, wow, that's so cool. So yeah, I'm gonna wholeheartedly with that comment for sure.
Right. And from the official Laser Time community, from Justin Berger, I remember loving this game. I think it was one of the last Wii games I played. It was as close you could get to GTA on the Wii. Yeah, that's very true. And from Jay Alberto, I remember the NPCs calling you right before a boss fight and listening to the combo through the Wiimote speaker, and it blew my mind.
Yeah, yep.
And from the Giant Bomb group, I got two. From Cody Curry, the third boss gave me so much damn trouble. Oh yeah, Shinobu, I could see her being hard. I was playing on easy, so it wasn't difficult. But I know on hard mode from the speedrun, they were talking like if the fight goes too long, you can't beat her or something like that. They were saying. She gets like fat. It just gets harder and harder to hit her or something like that. They were saying. I thought that was cool. That there's something like that in there. All right, and last comment from Richard Welsh. I remember being really charmed by this, but then took a break and never came back. I don't think I ever finished a Suda 51 game. I played this and Killer 7 for at least a few hours each. You should finish both of them. Because both are really fucking good. Killer 7 is, I think Killer 7 is stranger and harder to approach than this game.
It is very strange.
It's good. It's also very difficult too. I think it gets hard at the end.
Also spooky.
Yeah, it is. You get a lot of laughing and invisible enemies later on, stuff like that. So good game. You should play it. I think you'll like it. All right, and that brings us to a last segment, Shelf Stacker Box. Shelf being something you really like, stack being something you like but not as much, and box being something you disliked. And Joe, since your pick, why don't you go first?
Oh, this game is totally going on the shelf. I love the entire series. 3 came out recently, and that's when I decided to re-go through these, and loved every single moment of it. The ringtone, my ringtone for my personal phone when I first got my first smartphone was the music you constantly hear, and I think my text message notification is still the noise you get when you fully charge the Beam Katana. So I very much love this game.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm also going to put this on the shelf. I came into it with no expectations. I would have never put this game on the show probably because I just had no interest in replaying it, and I had a great time. I really am glad you got me to play this, Joe, and I really enjoyed it going on the shelf, and this was a fun time. This was a really strange, fun game. And what about you, Jessica?
Oh yeah, same for sure. for sure. We're doing shelf on this. As I'm sitting here recording, I'm looking at my gaming posters on the wall. I've got the No More Heroes Santa Destroy prominently displayed. My husband and I have cosplayed Sylvia and Travis before. This is definitely one of my favorite games. Huge part of my life. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I'm glad that you were able to join us to talk about this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All thanks to you making Greg Seward play it at some point for 5 hours.
Hey, no, it was a dirty job.
I should ask him if he enjoyed. Did he enjoy playing this game? Did it seem like on the stream?
I'll tell you he did. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, I should talk about what we're talking about next week. Damn, I'm almost forgetting how to do this show sometimes. So next week, I'm going to be talking about Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I'm excited to talk about. And Joel will be back for that one.
Yeah, I'll be here for that one.
That's a game.
Listen to me complain about 50% about that game.
Hey, it wasn't scary like RE2 Remake, so it was mwah to me.
Yeah, how do you think I fucking feel?
I have never been more terrified than RE2 Remake when I played that game in the dark in my new house in the basement. Fucking terrified of that. Yeah, game was the worst for me. Great game, but oh god, bad experience. All right, so stay tuned for that next week. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have over 400 other episodes you go listen to. We do movies, comics, TV show seasons. Go check out our giant catalog of stuff that we produce. You can find everything on Podbean. You can't find it looking for on Spotify or iTunes. Also, if you want to support the show, we do have a Patreon poll. And we have a new Patreon poll that just went live at the time that you're hearing this, which is going to be science fiction movies that Mike has never seen. So you get to vote for as little as $1. You'll see a link in the show notes. And the 4 choices are Blade Runner, Ghost in the Shell, the anime, Children of Men, and Tron 1982. I've never seen any of those 4 movies, and I figured, hey, I'll let you guys vote for it. So yeah, you'll see a link in the show notes for as little as $1. You can vote in our Patreon poll. And if you want to chat with us, we do have a Discord. You can join our Discord and chat with the show and other people that join us. And want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Hasper. You can follow her on TikTok. And also want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who covered the MCU movies with me. You can find him at A Gamer Looks at 40. He started his own podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. Audio only, but we are on YouTube. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time.
Mike,
Bye,
turn
everybody.
your games down.